The sound that did it wasn't a shout or an insult or even the threat of being dragged off the plane. It was the sound of paper tearing. Sharp, final, loud enough to cut through the low hum of the terminal. When the woman in the navy blue uniform ripped my boarding pass in half and let the pieces fall to the floor, something inside me snapped, not in a dramatic movie way, just quiet and cold, like when you realize this moment is going to follow you for the rest of your life. And yeah, I know how that sounds, but trust me, some moments do that. This all happened on a rainy Tuesday evening, the kind where airports feel heavier, like everyone's carrying more than luggage. The flight was delayed, tempers were short, and the gate area was packed with people who looked like they belonged there. Suits, polished shoes, designer bags. And then there was me sitting off to the side in the priority seating area, hoodie, pulled-up sneakers worn thin, scrolling my phone and trying to stay awake after a brutal week of finals. I wasn't trying to make a statement, I was just tired. That was my first mistake. Her name wasn't Bellamy. Let's call her Denise. Mid-40s, perfect posture, hair pulled so tight it looked painful. She didn't just work the gate, she owned it, at least in her mind. You could tell by the way she scanned people, not checking boarding passes, but judging, measuring, deciding who looked right and who didn't. When her eyes landed on me, they paused. Just a fraction too long. That's how I knew. She walked over with that fake smile people use when they're about to say something ugly, but want it to sound polite. "Excuse me," she said, hands folded, voice sweet. "This area is reserved for premium passengers. Economy boarding is over by the food court." I looked around, then back at her and said calmly, "I know. I'm on this flight." She laughed, actually laughed like I'd said something adorable. "I'm sure you are, honey, but first-class passengers don't wait here dressed like that." I felt the heat rise in my chest. Not anger yet, more like disbelief. I told her I was in first class. Her smile vanished. She looked me up and down and said, "I've been doing this job for years. I know what first class looks like, and you're not it." I reached for my phone to show her my boarding pass. She waved it away, said she wasn't interested in fake QR codes or screenshots, told me to move before security got involved, and then she said it quietly but clearly. "We can't have people like you bothering real customers. People like you know what I mean?" I could have ended it right there. I could have said my name. I could have made a call, but I didn't. Because I was raised to believe you don't use power to humiliate people even when they deserve it. So I stood up, grabbed my bag, and stepped aside. As I walked away, I heard her mutter under her breath, "Unbelievable." That word followed me all the way to the edge of the carpet. When boarding was announced, first class and elite members only, I stepped back into line. Right where I belonged. Denise saw me and lost it. She blocked the lane, snatched my phone out of my hand, stared at the screen, then shoved it back into my chest. "Seat 1A?" She scoffed. "Do you think I'm stupid?" I handed her my printed boarding pass, something my dad always told me to do just in case. She looked at it, hesitated for half a second, then tore it. Once, twice. "Let the pieces fall." There, she said. "Now you don't have a ticket. Leave." The terminal went silent. Even the guy in the expensive suit in front of me turned around. Security started walking over. My heart was pounding, not because I was scared, but because I was done. I looked at her and said quietly, "You shouldn't have done that." She smiled. "I just did." That's when I called my father. Not customer service, not a lawyer. Him. When his face appeared on the screen, still dressed for a charity event, she laughed. A sharp, ugly laugh. Until she heard his voice. Until she recognized it. The same voice from every corporate training video, every holiday message sent to employees worldwide. Her face drained of color. My dad didn't yell. He didn't need to. He asked her name. Asked what happened. Asked if she ripped my ticket. And when she admitted it, trying to justify it by how I looked, he fired her on the spot. Badge revoked. Escorted out. Finished. I thought that was the end. I really did. But life doesn't always stop when you think the lesson's been delivered. By the time I landed overseas, the video was everywhere. Millions of views, her name trending. And then I got a text from an unknown number. "You made a powerful enemy. Watch your back." That's when I realized Denise wasn't acting alone. What happened next took me somewhere darker than that gate. A private room. A man in an expensive suit who smiled like a shark. He told me the seat I'd fought for wasn't just a seat. It was storage, smuggling, high-value cargo hidden beneath the cushion. Denise's job wasn't just gatekeeping. She was protecting an operation, and my presence had disrupted it. He wanted me to retract the story, say it was a misunderstanding, restore her, let him finish his business, or else. When I refused, things got real. Threats, my phone taken, doors locked. That's when Denise walked in. No badge, no confidence, just fear. And in that moment, we were the same. Two people who realized too late they were disposable. She told me everything. And then she did the one right thing she had left. She helped me expose it. We went live, named names, triggered an emergency lockdown. Police flooded the room. Shots fired. Chaos. But the truth was already out there. He went to prison. The operation collapsed. Denise avoided jail by cooperating but lost everything else. Her career, her identity, her freedom to even step into an airport. And me, I didn't go back to being invisible. I didn't go back to pretending moments like that don't matter, because they do. They shape you. A year later, I stood at that same terminal watching a new gate agent handle an entitled man with calm, equal treatment. No bending rules, no profiling. Same standard for everyone. And it hit me then. This wasn't about revenge. It was about changing the space so the next person in a hoodie doesn't have to prove they belong. So here's my question for you. Was I right to push back, or should I have let it go? Where do we draw the line between humility and silence? I want to know what you think. Drop your story in the comments. Because if you've ever been judged before, you were known dismissed before you spoke or told you didn't belong where you earned your place, this isn't just my story, it's ours.